Joining us live, though, on this issue from Edinburgh, the city in question, is women's rights activist Elaine Miller. Thanks for joining us, Elaine. As I say, Edinburgh, very much in the news right now because J.K. Rowling is abroad at the moment, but she says when she returns, she's challenged the police to arrest her because she will not call a trans woman a woman. What do you feel? I mean, there are so many aspects of this absurd, draconian law to discuss. But what do you feel about living in a country where your leaders, the SNP, have just passed a law that makes it illegal for you to state the truth? That is, that a trans woman is not a woman. That's illegal. If you say a trans woman is not a woman in your country now, that is against the law. This is through the looking glass, Alice in Wonderland stuff, isn't it?
It's baffling. It's completely baffling about why elected representatives would make a decision like this when they have had opportunity to have advice that would fit in with the law and common sense and have chosen to ignore it. I don't think that they've thought it through at all, and I don't think that they've understood the consequences of this, because if I'm not allowed to say that somebody that's male and has a gender difference, believes themselves to be a woman, maintains their same sex, then I have a problem doing my job in healthcare. That it's not possible to change your sex, and if you're going to address people's needs, then you need to be frank with them. But apparently that is now a criminal activity. Me doing my job is a bad thing.
And one thing that I noticed, and when J.K. Rowling put up the list of those 10 men who all sort of identify as trans women, and this doesn't obviously apply to all people with gender dysphoria, I'm hoping far from it. But the 10 she put up, there were incidents among those who are men who have committed pretty heinous sexual crimes. And what I don't understand is why these people, men who are committing heinous sexual crimes, some of which include paedophiles, are being given a sort of enhanced status, a sort of vulnerability and a victimhood that they must be protected. And the people who are their victims, women, especially young ones, minors, are the ones in the firing line with this policy.
Some of those individuals have been threatening to women like me who disagree with the government's position, and there's some people that actively pursue us, and you could say that that was criminal behaviour, but apparently that's really not a problem. It's unfortunate because the government has taken advice from these people who are not experts. They don't understand legislation, they don't understand the law, they don't understand the implications of health and society and to women. And they've created a bit of a mess. And the problem that the government have, I think, is that the women in particular, there's a lot of us that are just not going to accept it. We're completely prepared to be the cause of civil unrest in order to have this unpicked because it's dangerous.
Elaine, this law rails against stirring up hatred based on race, sexual orientation and religion. How do you feel about the fact that women are not protected in this law? Why do you think women were extracted from this law? I mean, they say, oh, we're going to bring in a misogyny law later. I'll believe that when I see it. What is going on here? This feeds into, in my view, the calling of women people with cervixes, people who menstruate, all of that. Why are they trying to take womanhood away from women?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't understand why they have done this, but I agree with you that the wording of the legislation and the loss of words to describe women and what we are and what we need is deeply troubling. There's lots of evidence that if you don't use the word woman in health promotion, then there's women that have got English as a second language, who've got learning disabilities, who've got dyslexia, that don't then recognise the need for them to go, for example, cervical screening. And women can die of undetected cervical cancer. There's lots and lots of evidence that this is excluding women, particularly marginalised women, from accessing all of the things that a civilised society would provide for these people. So I'm afraid I can't answer your question because it makes absolutely no sense.
Well, you sort of do answer it, Elaine. You do answer it. You said earlier, Elaine, just before you go, that you work in the medical field. What do you do?
I'm a physiotherapist. I'm a pelvic health physiotherapist.
Okay, I mean, it's
So
so
people
ridiculous.
that have had people that have had treatment from gender clinics can land up in our clinics because of the complications that they experience from the unwanted secondary
It's so
effects.
ridiculous that people like you are, in a way, being prevented from treating patients properly because you're not allowed to classify them as a woman. And by the way, last point, a couple of years back, when the NHS took to calling women people with cervixes, loads of women didn't realise that referred to them and didn't get cervical checks. So that's where we head when we do this sort of nonsense. Elaine, great to talk to you. Thank you very much.